From IBMTV, International Broadcast Media, this is your report from Washington. Thank God it's Friday and there are only 32 days left. Forget the medical mask, Trump won't be wearing one. An item of clothing Trump made fun of most recently on Tuesday during his blistering attacks on Biden during the presidential joint exercise. Trump has COVID-19, the hoax pandemic virus. Barring any complications after a 14-day quarantine, Trump will have only 18 days to campaign. For now, no more rallies, no more stump speeches, no more debates, interviews through a plastic bubble only. Trump is 74 years old, putting him at a higher risk of serious complications from a virus that has now killed more than 200,000 people in the United States and more than 1 million globally. If Mr. Trump does become symptomatic, it could take him weeks to recover. Under the 25th Amendment, a medically incapacitated president has the option of temporarily transferring power to the vice president and can reclaim his authority whenever he deems himself fit for duty. Under the Presidential Succession Act, enacted in 1947, if both Trump and Vice President Pence were unable to carry out their duties, welcome to President Nancy Pelosi. News of the infection of the most powerful man in the world drew instant reactions of shock, sympathy, and undisguised glee, and of course, suspicion, with some suggesting that this is a ploy to avoid further debates and cast a sympathetic light on his dwindling chances at re-election. With his campaign coffers dwindling, it is increasingly hard to see how Trump can maintain a national campaign. The presidential debates on October 25th and 22nd are in serious doubt whether or not Trump survives the virus. Russian President Vladimir Putin is extending wishes of a speedy recovery to Trump, expressing sincere support in this difficult moment. But he did not offer Trump the Russian-made vaccine he earlier offered to the entire United Nations. Biden's campaign has made no announcements about his condition, and Biden appeared on an indoor stage with Trump for 90 minutes at Tuesday's debate. Biden appealed to the nation's Roman Catholic voters on Thursday during a charity dinner that has traditionally been used to promote collegiality and good humor. But in the face of the pandemic and economic woes for millions of Americans, there was no joking at this year's Alfred E. Smith Memorial Foundation dinner, which went virtual because of the pandemic. The event comes as Biden and Trump make fierce plays for Catholic voters. In other news, the House has approved $2.2 trillion stimulus plan put forth by the Democrats, but it still does not have enough bipartisan support to make it through the Republican-led Senate. In other words, there's still no economic stimulus relief in sight for struggling families and businesses. An additional 837,000 Americans filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week. Economists predict the September jobs report will show a gain of 850,000, but this would mark a third straight monthly slowdown since job gains continue to remain below 1 million a month. At this rate, it would take until late 2021 or 2022 to recoup them all. Stock futures plunged as markets began to absorb the news. The futures tied to the Dow lost 430 points. The move indicated an opening loss of more than 400 points. S&P fell 1.7%. NASDAQ declined 2.3%. Futures were off to their worst levels. In a sign of the times, a Florida woman who won $1,000 in a second chance drawing on July 29th isn't getting her prize because the certified letter she sent via the post office to the Florida Lottery's headquarters never arrived. She was told no ticket, no prize. And you wonder why we always worry about Florida. And the Irish Supreme Court rules that Subway sandwich breads are too sugary to be legally called bread. They contain 10% sugar rather than the limit of 2%. The sandwiches are now pastries. The question is, how will this affect Brexit? Finally, the current COVID death toll from Johns Hopkins is over 207,816 American souls lost and 1,023,451 global souls lost with no end in sight. That is your report for October 2nd, 2020 from IBM TV, International Broadcast Media, smart television for a smarter global community, from dictatorships to democracies around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm Bill Trezevant.